Facebook and YouTube are taking their time. We're live on Facebook.
Live on Facebook. What's up, Facebook? These are the ones who know me. This is the only app I use.
We are live on YouTube, live everywhere.
All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Berkeley Poetry Slam. We are here every Wednesday with amazing writers, amazing performers, amazing features, and today is no different. But before we get into today's show is brought to you by the support from our generous patrons over at Patreon and viewers like you. Shout out to PBS. This show, while super rewarding, still has to abide by the merciless rules of capitalism. So every contribution given to us helps Rich Oak Event plan and budget to ensure that we are paying our feature artists, supporting local fledgling writers, and providing a space for the East Bay community to enjoy art. So I would like to give a special shout out to our regular patrons, Reggie Edmonds, Emily Chow, and Kaleli. I would also like to give a shout out to Jessica Kozik for sponsoring one of our weekly writing workshops, and a special mega Rich Oak Risk It for the Biscuit shout out to Alice Grimm for pledging $100 a month in support of our venue, the Allen Bluford Center. Thank you so much for rocking with us. It's been about a year now. Thank you so much. But if you enjoy any of what you are seeing or just love the arts in general, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/richoakevents. There you can sign up for different tiers of support from anywhere from $2 a month all the way up to $100 a month that do things like help pay our venues, give back to our community, make sure that we are able to provide accessible arts to the Bay Area. So if this interests you, again, head over to patreon.com/richoakevents. Arvin's dropping that link in the chat right now. Or if you cannot donate monthly, we also take one-time donations via Cash App, #RichOakEvents, Rich Oak Events, or Venmo at Rich Oak Slam. Thank you so much for your support. And remember, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, so your donations are tax deductible. But most importantly, your donations are helping support our work. And now we will move on with the show. Gang, 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 gang. We have another show for you today, another amazing slam, another feature. If you know who the feature is, sound out in the comment sections. But first, what is a poetry slam? A poetry slam is a competition where we put arts and numbers, and poets come up here and do like a whole bunch of amazing poems, and then we tell them exactly how we like about it, what we like about it. No. But we have judges, we have poets, we have prizes. So because it's a competition, we do have rules. First, for the poets will have 3 minutes and 10 seconds to share one poem. You have, after 3 minutes in your grace period of 10 seconds, points will be deducted by our scorekeeper, Reggie. At 4 minutes, you will be muted and played off stage with music. It is super awkward. I don't like doing it. It hasn't happened yet. But if you suddenly hear music during your poem, it is no longer the middle of your poem. It is now the end of your poem, because we have people competing from different time zones. So we like to respect their time. There's no props, no musical accompaniment other than your voice, no animal acts, no costumes. The top 5 poets from round 1 move into round 2. And most importantly, we have our time-honored tradition, which is word of the day. Our word of the day is quash, which means to nullify, especially by judicial action. If you use this word successfully in your poem, you will gain an extra point. Poets, if you hear the word of the day, say word of the day in big ass capital letters in the chat. That way, just in case our scorekeeper missed it, they can see that that poet used word of the day and they get the points that they deserve. All right, now that we have the rules for the poets, next we have rules for the judges. Judges, y'all have the hardest job in the slam because you have to judge the poetry openly. Judges will be scoring the poets from a scale of 0.0 to 10.0 using 1 decimal point. 0.0 is the worst piece of shit you've ever heard in your life. It is, it took your rent money, went and gambled it away, and then came back and asked you for money so they can get your rent money back through gambling. And then when you told them no, they stole the money. And then when they stole the money, they lost that money too. So now they owe you rent money and the shit they stole. And that shit is just a 2.6. 10.0 is the best thing you have ever heard in your life. This is the most amazing meal cooked by the matriarch of your family. It is reminds you of home and safety. And then someone put like the most amazing like culinary like arts education behind the recipe and made the recipe even better than you remembered, but it still is enough to remind you of home, and that is just an 8.6. The point being is that there aren't many zeros, there aren't many tens. Score accordingly. We have this thing called score creep, where as the night goes on and you may or not have a little with you, the poetry magically starts to sound better and you start to score higher. We ask that you don't do that shit. Stay as consistent as possible. We want the person who goes first to have the same chance to win as the person who goes last. To help mitigate score keep, we will have a sacrifice. This poet is not in the slam, but you will judge them as if they are in the slam. If you like them more, score them higher. If you like them less, score them lower. But most importantly, stay consistent. And now we have rules for the audience. Yes, you. I love telling you what to do in the comfort of your own home. So the first rule for the audience is to share, subscribe, and like to our Instagram and Twitter at the Berkeley Slam and to our Facebook at the Berkeley Poetry Slam. Next, I want you to comment on the feed. Let the poets know how much you love these poems. Be as enthusiastic, if not more enthusiastic, than you would be at a slam in person. You get to tell us exactly what lines you like. If you hear lines that resonate with you, write those in the chat. Snap, clap, ooh. We want to know what you what you like. And Arvin is always posting feedback from y'all. And as my old church pastor would say, out in Radio Land, want to say about our poetry. But most importantly, we want to remind the audience that this is a freedom of speech zone. That means people will come up here and say whatever the fuck they want to say. However, freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. So if someone says something fucked up, you can let them know. You can have those conversations in the comment section or elsewhere respectfully. If you are disrespectful, that'll just get you blocked. But we do want people to know that there be some sensitive topics talked about here, and it's to spark those conversations. Because at the end of the day, art form, you're supposed to learn from art, and the only way you can learn from anybody is if they feel like they can say what is on their full mind and have that free and open conversation. So freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. But now that we have our rules out the way, we are ready for our show. So on our performance, we have First, we have Ro Wrights, then we have Kaya, followed by Silva, then Nicole Tracii, then Kimberly Jae, then AD Slams, and ending it off will be Joshua Merchant. Gang, 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 gang. Give it up for everybody reading tonight. So on deck, we have our first poet of the slam, Ro Wright. But coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love for our sacrifice, Reggie. Hey, you kind of look like the host.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're a little bit quiet.
How's this?
That's better.
Perfect. Portrait of my black as ripening fruit. I am so full of sugar, almost too sweet, almost too forgiving, too understanding of consumption, and everybody wants to be the fruit until it is time to talk about the tree and its roots and how hard it has been to stand this tall when the world wants to commodify you into timber or cultivate your children to sweeten their next meal. And once I was young and green and bitter in the mouth until I was sun-beaten and left to hang from the vine, a delicious lynching. Beneath every bruise, there is a pool of blood so sweet, you swear, even my anger is made of sugar, but you taste sweetness. I taste rot in the back of my mouth when I am called a nigga and have to smile because this is not the bar I expected to die in. I don't know exactly when I started to ferment into wine, but I know that soon I will be bottled and shipped out to any white kid with an identity crisis or two-part bronzer, or given to their friends to share while they tell stories of the conquest. Rachel passed the bottle to Sean, Sean to Jessica. Now everybody is drunk and losing their minds while I lose myself in blue eyes that don't respect the Black that I came from. In the absence of respect, I want justice. In the absence of justice, forgiveness softens my flesh until it blackens into the earth. The blacker the berry, the easier it is to mash between the teeth, to pulverize into something that won't fight back when you try to swallow. Don't ask me why I am soft. Ask me why I've been left alone to die like this. If not left alone, then bitten and pecked and prodded to the core. Don't ask me why I'm sweet. Ask me why I'm so damn tired. Ask me what quashed the rebellion of my tongue. What happened to the bitterness of my youth? Silence is an inheritance that I aged into.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Time for our sacrifice, Reggie. Judges, this is your practice round. Please send your scores to our scorekeeper as quick as possible. This is literally the longest I'm going to give you to send your scores. So on deck, we have Kaya, but coming to the first stage, give maximum love to our first person of the first round. Give it up for Ro Ride.
Let's go, poet.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep.
When our foundation of understanding refuses to uphold deception, we untangle lips, speak exclusively in our truth, digest sunset, and spark curiosity when existing in our truth equates to daily combat and habitual pain. Sirens use flickering lights to illuminate a sullen smile and godless attitude. When we are forced to create something out of nothing, we call it magic. Move mountains, part seas like the ghost of divinities past. We rise with vengeance, unveil battles that should not belong to us when fragmenting hearts becomes an art form. We mourn mosaic shadows. Dance in heavy rain we call home to words hotter than 1,000 suns, melt moons, teasing tongues of uncertainty. They gave us 40 acres, took it back. Retracted statements that once gave us a voice, told us to move bodies past boundaries that have always felt like home, peeled identity off like snake does skin, asked for our culture, flocked like vultures, carefully held palms out, smiled nicely and moved on in blissful ignorance. So I conjured old souls with piercing dialect and unforgiving hearts. Is this not what you wanted? For Black woman to become undone? To become a little more Malcolm and a little less Martin, to become inviting threshold that cautiously carries your footsteps, to be loud, to be aggressive, to fight, self to hate, self to hide, self to affirm identity that was never mine to begin with. Is this not what you wanted? Full lips, jazz hips, coconut curls, brown skin. Truth is, my body be the epitome of alchemy. Truth is, we never wanted your 40 acres, only our voice, only our respect, only our dignity, only everything you've ever taken from us. Truth is, we never wanted your 40 acres. They were never yours to begin with.
All right, give it up one more time for Ro Ride.
Let's go.
Get your
Come on, poet.
Score. All right, your score. The score for the sacrifice was, it looks like a 28.8. Gang, 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 gang. Give it up for the poet and not the scores, though. Woo! But such a great way for us to kick off our slam. It is gonna be amazing moving forward because on deck we have Nicole Tracii coming up to the stage right now. Give maximum love for Sova.
Let's go, poet. poet. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I did what I could to protect myself from the water and all it's expected to conceal. I am terrified of drowning, so I conjure community from kiddie pool, turn this ocean from ecosystem, from bounty, from open to barren, sterile to safe and yet sorry. You can still drown in shallow water if someone is holding you down. The word stop spills out of my mouth like broken faucet drips again, floods the room. Hold my breath, realizing it was never really mine to hold like everything else. My survival is just another favor gifted to me from the kindness of someone else's heart at the mercy of someone else's hands. I'm getting dressed. Your grin illuminated by your phone screen, the text reads, guess what I just did in a motel room? You turned my assault into conquest. Spectacle. Every slam needs an audience and a winner. Judges decide it's you, take the stage. Leaving me to resuscitate myself. Blocking you on Facebook doesn't stop it from advertising your features. You using stolen poems will not quash you of your accolades, titles, position, power. Reaching for my pussy during the slam is not the only way you get to score at my expense that night. And reporting you doesn't stop them from inviting you back to finals. I was told not to write about this, how the beloved poet could become trigger warning for every place I'm afraid to go back to. Call it cancel culture, not accountability, flirting, not assault, one mistake, and not rape. Call them family. Poet, activist, not someone who can't keep their hands off what does not belong to them. Describe our closeness, and blood is thicker than water, but isn't every family the same? Don't we always defend our most predatory member? Blame the most vulnerable? This is not the first time I have trusted my community and had it fuck me without my consent. Mourn the rapist reputation longer than I did. For my virginity, it's been 2 decades and my eyes are still bloodshot from chlorine, and nights I spend terrified to close them. Now I write my story in fractions. Worried about who could trace it back to who, and not the traces of them still embedded in me. Pressure myself to win so that maybe the value of my words will finally be enough for people to actually listen to them, listen to me, listen to us. This is for every leaky faucet still running, too afraid to make waves, to reclaim their own breath. This is for us, learning to float.
Give it up one more
Let's
time.
go, poet. Come on.
Throw in your scores to our scorekeeper. I've been doing a very good job about getting your scores in on time, because our last poet got a score of a 29.1, but we always give it up for the poets and not the scores. And now it is time for a little bit of accountability. See, the problem is that they have made me host tonight, and they did not realize that I cannot read. And because I cannot read, I done fucked up. I accidentally skipped over one of the performers. So on deck, we have Nicole Tracii, but coming up right now, we have Kaya.
Let's go. Come on.
Trigger warning for mentions of sexual assault. More men have raped me than have loved me. I don't know who my body belongs to, but it is not me. Exhaustion haunts my skin now, wearing a mask of burgundy liquor wrapped in vicious gray talons. Every patch of dirt I have touched, still breathing, I have survived the violent surveillance of desire. My blood is never blue when it leaks from my wounds. My mind is dismembered, my bones unworthy of death's supple paradise, ever pillaged and never prized. On dusky pickled orange evenings where I have offered my skin to the junkyard, gods of love, a ragged quilt of raw black diamonds blooms from every laceration, skating up my thighs in the name of silence. A scream is a ritual I do not often possess the magic to wield. The world has made complacency my only acceptable dowry, my pussy my only redeeming quality, my mouth a hollow velvet dumpster smelling of piss, graffitied by every other pain I've kept to myself in the name of being agreeable, and agreeable is the key to surviving. Agreeable is how the skin stays stitched together, seams hidden and untorn. Agreeable is the name of every mother that has held her newborn daughter's feet to a soil rife with blood and patriarchy, whispering to her screaming product, one day you'll learn there are greater discomforts than this.
All right.
All right, give it up one more time for Kaya. I am so sorry for skipping over you, but all right, judges, get your scores in to the scorekeeper. And I do believe the last poet, Soba, also got a score of a 29.1. Look at the consistency with the judges. Gang, gang, gang. And if you like anything that you heard tonight and you feel inspired to write, but you have never written a poem before, or you can't find the time to write, or you are a writer already and you need ideas to write on, then you can catch us before the show every Wednesday on Zoom for our free, yes, free writing workshops. They are oftentimes run by our features, but they are writing workshops that allow us to foster a community of writers that is continuously getting better. This is our way of making sure that our amazing art scene does not stagnate, that there's constant growth and constant resources for more people to come onto our scene and not just do poetry, but be good at it, and really improve their writing and performance. So check us out every Wednesday before the show at 7 p.m. We always have on our promotion the Zoom link, so you can check out our Instagram, our Facebook, or our Twitter for more information. Gang, 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 and a gang. But on deck, because I can read right now, I believe I can read. On deck, we have Kimberly Jae, but coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love for Nicole Tracii.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
So this is
I
sad
love this.
about my parents, but this time it is about both of them. I tell you the story and it is all a lie. I don't know how my parents met. I know they dated for some period of time before I existed, lived together, but I don't think I ever lived there too. When I say they are divorced, what I mean is they were never actually married, but the end result is the same. And now all of my poems are about one parent or the other, but never both. When I say my parents are divorced, I mean, once I got 4 birthday cakes because they refused to speak, not even the polite rapport. I saw movies twice because my mother tried to be the fun parent once. When I say my parents are divorced, what I mean is they did go to family court when I was 2, and I probably went with them. Apparently, the matter was quashed when my father said he refused to change a diaper. I mean, they went to family court again when I was 14 and 16 and 17, and I was not allowed to go with my mother any of these times, but dirty diapers were irrelevant, and this time the focus was on my father's inability to commit, not to my mother, but to paying child support, and 8 years later, he has paid maybe a total of $200, and he will probably die before ever paying it off. When I say my parents really aren't together and my father pretends I don't exist, I mean it. I mean, the Department of Education almost revoked all of my scholarships, grants, and eligibility for student loans because they thought I, at 19, was committing tax fraud and lied when I said my father sent all of $27 in 1 year for child support. When I say my parents are divorced, I mean, everyone else on either side of the family has at least one divorce, and so that's basically the same thing. I mean, I love my mother from 3,000 miles away. I tolerate her from 400 miles and any longer than 72 hours together, and we will have a very public screaming match. When I say my father exists, I mean, I assume he has not died. but I should not call him my father, since he called me no longer part of the family, and so I'm not on the family phone plan too. So I don't think Craig ever grew up and learned to be a parent, but I do think he loved me from about 10 until 16. When I say I write about one parent or the other, I mean, both have emotionally scarred me in vastly different ways, and that's why I write about them.
Give it up one more time for Nicole Tracii. Gang, 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 gang.
That's my
All
friend.
right, judges,
That's
send
my
your
friend.
scores to our scorekeeper. Did I get the scores for the last one? We have a 28.8 for Kaya. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. But if you like anything that you are seeing and you've been in here rocking with us all night and you haven't liked and followed us on IG and Twitter, you are missing out. Please follow us on IG and Twitter at the Berkeley Slam. But don't just follow us, follow the other shows that we run. Follow the Oakland Slam at Oakland Slam, and also follow Rich Oak Alchemy at Rich Oak Alchemy. We are a collective that runs 7 shows and 7 workshops a month, and it is your support that really helps us keep this going, because without y'all and without y'all liking, subscribing, sharing, and watching, we're just a whole bunch of niggas reading poetry to ourselves, and that's not fun. We're doing this to showcase what we have to say to y'all. So we want y'all to be up to date with that. And if you are not up to date with our YouTube page, yes, we have a YouTube page, yes. Our YouTube page at Bay Poets Unite on YouTube. Check us out there. We have all of the live streams from our previous shows, as well as poetry videos from various poets who you might see tonight, that you might have seen on other nights. If you like anybody tonight, let us know. Go see if they have a video on Bay Poets Unite. But we really want to curate a space for Bay Area, specifically artists, to get showcased in a way that hasn't really been accessible to Bay Area artists as it has been to folks in, say, New York or the South. So we're really trying to create that platform here for the Bay Area. So please support us, Bay Poets Unite. Arvin, how many subscribers are we at on Bay Poets Unite? Didn't we just hit 200 recently?
I think we're at 230 now, or 250, something like that.
I think we can get to 300 very quickly. So please help us get to 300 subscribers. The more subscribers we get, the more views we get, the more people will see us when they search poetry, and we really want our artists to be showcased. So please support us at our social media, at our YouTube. But on to the show. On deck, we have AD Slams. But coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to Kimberly Jae.
Woo! Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Mama Math. If a jar of jelly is $2.98 and a loaf of Hawaiian bread is $4, then how much bail money will I need when I kill everyone in my house for eating all the goddamn bread and jelly in 5 minutes? And if it takes one mama 20 minutes to wash one sink full of dishes, then what is the square root of the number of threats that will be issued in the 5 hours it takes 2 kids to do so correctly? Black mama math. If a Black mama has 2 17-year-old Black boys, then what is the probability that one of them will come home in a body bag in the next 5 years if son A leaves Ferguson at 3:00 p.m. traveling 60 miles per hour, and son B leaves Baltimore at 5:00 p.m. traveling 50 miles per hour, both driving to Florida? At what time and which morgue will their bodies be delivered to when their Black boy music and joy inspires a stand your ground tango? Better yet, what is the cost of a funeral times 2 if the police pull them over? If 6 out of 10 people have math anxiety, and how many Black women out of 10 have murdered baby anxiety? See, everyone says that Black women can't math, but we have been Black mama mathing since the beginning of time. They have been long divisioning us since Africa was too valuable to keep as a whole. See, we get reduced down like fractions, told we're not equivalent, compared to and found wanting against each other, even though we have the same common denominator. Then we get factored out like quadratic equations. Our square roots are cut in half. Our ancestral variables are left unknown. We're always left solving for the why. If distance equals rate times time, and the rate of blacks killed by cops is 9 times more than everyone else, then exactly how distant are we from legalized literacy? Black women are the most educated in the US. But a Black mama not only has the math, but we also have the Black mama philosophize. See, if my son plays outside with a toy gun and there are no news cameras around to see it, when the police shoot him, is it still murder or does it become self-defense? See, Black mamas already know whether or not justice is a basic human right or just a blue illusion. We already know which harsh truths everyone ignores until someone not Black validates us. Is it possible that some people are just genetically predisposed to hate? How free is our will if it is decided by, if our fate is decided by our melanin? What is the meaning of Black lives if so many people don't think that we matter? Black mama matter. If a jar of jelly is $2.98 and a loaf of Hawaiian bread is $4, but I'm too scared to let my babies go to the grocery store, then what is the probability that I'm just delaying inevitable?
Hey, man.
Time for Kimberly Jae. Judges, get your scores. And do I have scores for Nicole? I think I just saw it. All right, and with word of the day, I'm sorry, I have not been saying with word of the day and letting you know, but most people have gotten their word of the day points. But with word of the day, Nicole had a score of a 29.0. Gang, and we have a lot of love in the comments section as well. Judges, get your scores in, and on deck, we have our last poet of the first round, Joshua Merchant, but coming up to the stage, give maximum love to our second to last poet in the first round. Give it up for A.D. Slam.
Mic check, you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Trigger warning, racism, police brutality. Hate is actually too much self-love. When you're loathed in your own experience of life, you forget that other people exist too. Too much of yourself involves less of everyone else, so you hate what's not you. You hate what you haven't been through. You hate my experiences because they are not like yours. You hate my skin color because it makes you unsure of what? Your safety? You're afraid because of what? I'm brown. I take a deep breath, make sure I don't make a sound. Shh. My life is at stake. I can't move one way or another. I'm scared you might take my life because I say the wrong thing. Cry myself to sleep because of my existence. Wish I could change your heart or at least the system. Truth is, we're all strange fruit desiring to kill each other at any chance we get. No supremacy is right, and it's too much of that mindset of the fight to be like the one who's on top instead of loving who we were made to be. I told you hate comes from too much self-love, and now you see. Black capitalism. That your hate for me comes from thinking you are better in some way, shape, or form. And then I retaliate the same, and it becomes a cycle, a storm. A battle for power to prove superiority over another. Truth is, hate is a desire to cover that pain you feel that you relinquish on others, to strike fear in the hearts of yellow, black, and brown mothers, to kill our communities and then make us blame it on each other. Hate is when you pretend I'm not dying when you smother my face into the ground while I scream, I can't breathe. You quash my existence, my mind still can't conceive. How can you kill us and pretend it's not a problem? It's because you love yourself too much and you've fallen into the trip that darkness intended long ago to make the war about people instead of what's above and below. It's deeper than the surface, but no one can see that unless the scales that blind you are peeled and fall from your eyes and fall flat. To the ground, to the dirt we all came from. We were once unified. Once love only existed, but our love for ourselves made us collide. It's the same today, though we try to make it different. Hate is not just a battle of the elite and the poor or racial hierarchy. It's a fight of light and darkness, not just political parties. Hate is the reason for every ism that exists. Hate is the reason George Floyd couldn't get his last kiss because his cheeks were black and he felt the brown paper bag rule. To them, he was 3/5 a person. He wasn't a man, he was a fool. But the foolish ones were wearing blue behind the trigger. The excuse was, as always, he was a threat. Go figure. The same foolishness that causes inequity in the class and then calls it rigor. The same foolishness that says I'm articulate for my skin color and then I get bitter. Called angry black girl just for expressing my feelings. But I can't choose to respond the same. I have to be a hero, not a villain. But I do want to save the world, not perpetuate the killings. Instead, I choose to walk in the battle of love, not of myself, but of the one above. I hope one day we can see that our blood is the same. I hope one day the tears on my pillows produce a change, because teardrops produce purpose from our pain. Even when hate is an option, love still remains.
Right, give it up one more time for AD Slams. And I'm still waiting on scores for the last poet. Reggie just told me they gave me the score. Let me look back. I don't see it, Reggie. Could you send it to me one more time, please? There we go.
I sent it to Arvind, I'm sorry.
The last poet, Kimberly Jae, got a score of a 29.7. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Judges, please send your scores for 80 slams in. All right, and on deck, we have our amazing feature, Imani Sundiata. But coming up to the stage right now, give it up for the last poet of the first round. Give it up for Joshua Merchant.
Let's go. Come on.
When Day moved in, all the boys could talk about was the new girl with the older brother destined to be a famous rapper and a mixtape to prove it. Her hair as long as mine's now, siblings in hue, neighbors in complex, the gray one on 64th, where lil niggas will spray your name like salt over the shoulder or rice at the ceremony, pepper after midnight, where lil niggas will say your name like food, and for a second, you like that. Feeling worth not just the spit, but the swallow. Eventually, her name was digested, and the allure wore off. Okay, I get it. Brother's a rapper, ponytail long enough to be one, but not that impressive. Dark skin, not even that cute. Hella annoying, actually. Always talking. Bitch, shut up. A game of hide and seek broke yoke over a pair of hot hands tagging Day in front of her family's door. If there is a phrase for the level of disgust and fear I felt, I'll sum it all up with the term kids. I didn't break up the fight. Her brother was nowhere to be found. Somebody's mama may have ended things. I don't remember. What I do remember is when we used to play tag, we'd climb on top of flower boxes that were boarded up because no one took good care of them, climb up the rails onto the second floor, and if we were really bold, onto the third. One day, one of the boys was it. While trying to climb down to the first floor, she tripped, landed on her back. Before anyone could say a word, she cackled.
Joshua Merchant. All right, judges, send your scores in one more time to our scorekeeper, and our last poet, after a time penalty, got a 28.4. Everybody say fuck linear time. I'm gonna pretend y'all said it in the comment section. I was waiting for y'all to actually say it. But
wait, there was a time penalty?
We have made it through the first round together. I know it started off a little rocky when y'all found out I couldn't read, but we got through it together, and now we have come to our amazing features. So I'm gonna read their bio because their bio is dope as hell. Imani Sundiata is a 22-year-old, as of today, happy birthday, Black and queer poet from the South. She is currently in her last semester of college at Louisiana State University, where she is majoring in psychology. She found a home in poetry at her first slam when she was 17 and has been a passionate member of the spoken word community ever since. In 2017, Imani was part of Louisiana's only youth poetry team to attend Brave New Voices, where she and her team went on to take first place in the competition. Imani writes primarily about mental health and being okay in a society that would rather she disappear. She writes about her loved ones, both lost and here, but most importantly, mostly about her father. And she writes about all the love she has to share. You can find her and connect with her on Instagram at Imani Beautiful and on Twitter at That Joy Baloo. But give maximum love to our feature. I'm so excited. Give it up for Imani Sundiata.
Hi. Okay. Whew. I forgot that was my bio for a second. I was like, oh, I wrote that. Dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's your fire.
All right. You forget how good of a poet you are until you write something and somebody read it back to you. You like, oh dang. Okay. So I have a few poems for you guys. I either have 4 or 5, depending on what time looks like. General trigger warnings of maybe slight mentions of suicide, depression, sexual assault, all the stuff. Okay. And that's just a general one for all the poems because I did not go through and write all of them. I do apologize about that. Okay. This first poem is an oldie, like it's real old, but none of y'all, mostly unless you from this scene, you have not seen it. So I'm gonna just do it for you. It's gonna be new to y'all. She just wants to be beautiful. She goes unnoticed. She knows no limit. She craves attention. She prays to be sculpted by the sculptor. Fact, I'm the only person in the world who can hold their breath for an hour. Fact, I love to eat. Fact, I love to eat chicken. Fact, I love to eat fried chicken, baked chicken, chicken on salad. After I get rid of the salad, chicken nuggets, smothered chicken, I don't discriminate. Fact, I love to eat chicken more than I love this body. Fact, beauty is everywhere. Fact, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Fact, my eyes are so warped up I can't behold myself beautiful anymore. Fact, I'm the only person in the world who can hold their breath for an hour. I know this because I've seen the back of a fridge like alcoholics have seen the bottom of a bottle. When you replace oxygen with food, you seem to pick up a few things like how to look pregnant without actually being pregnant, like how to not appear as if you don't know how to appear as if you don't notice or care that you can't fit into your favorite jeans anymore, like how to hold your breath for an hour or how to breathe underwater. Fact, I'm the only person in the world who can breathe underwater. I know this because I've seen my reflection in the mirror. When your warped up eyes have cried seawater tears at the sight of yourself like mine have, you pick up a few things like how to breathe underwater or how not to drown while doing so. Fact, I don't drown underwater. Fact, I'm the only person in the world who can jump from a skyscraper and not die. Fact, love is beautiful. Fact, love comes from within. Fact, beauty comes from within. Question, am I still beautiful if I don't love myself? Fact, I'm the only person in the world who can jump from a skyscraper and not die. I know this because I've been playing Russian roulette with my body. Tried to shove bullets down my throat. French fries down the chamber of a gun, but my body just won't die, so maybe I'm invincible. Fact, I'm invincible. Okay. Haven't read that in a while. That poem is one I wrote when I was younger. I feel like I'm in another place right now. I love my body now, but I still have those moments, and I feel like it's important to look back on how much I grew. So I wanted to share that poem with y'all. Okay. My next poem is Klonopin. It's a favorite of mine. Klonopin, Zoloft, Xanax. Klonopin, Zoloft, Xanax, Klonopin, Zoloft, Xanax, popping pills, body chills, bottles on my person. Klonopin, Zoloft, Xanax, I said, anxiety attack. Mama heard, doctor's visit. Doctor said, depression. Mama said, hand me down the family crown of mental illness. I said, numb me. Doctor said, Klonopin, Zoloft, Xanax. Daddy didn't say anything. How could he from the grave? Sometimes I wonder if the stroke hadn't caught him first, with the safety of food lull him until a swollen throat sleep. News said you can eat yourself to death, news said you can overdose on food too. Body said overeat until your throat fist. Mama said daddy had depression. Mama says sister has depression. Sister said depression has mama. I said Klonopin, Zoloft, Xanax. Counselor said the medicine is only temporary. I said food save me. Body said pop the pills, eat to kill. Depression runs in the family. Says who wants to be beautiful when you can swallow pills and ice cream all day? Said avoid the mirror because you can't think too hard if you don't recognize what's in it. Stop thinking so hard. You only live once. So why not live life dying? For the next bite, I said, I eat to feel good. Counselor heard doctor's visit. Doctor said, you've gained weight since the last time I saw you. I said, I hate this body. Body said, I'm gaining the weight to fill the space of your missing appendage of a father. Said, you should be happy. I care. I'm the only one who does. I said, Klonopin, Zoloft, Xanax, save me. Food, numb me. Body said, pills didn't do this for you. I did. Food wasn't there to save you. I was. If I tell you to crave food, you crave food. If I tell you to cry, you cry. I vessel the spirit. I can react however the hell I want. I told you to write a poem. And look, you wrote a poem. See? Look how good I treat you. Pills and food never had a say in this, so why are you giving them all the credit? I said, sometimes I wish I didn't have a body to begin with. Body said, you are so ungrateful. Mama said, I'm so grateful God graced me with you. I said, God cursed me with me. God said, this body is only temporary. I said, don't you get it? That's what I'm afraid of. Okay, so if y'all still hanging with me, I have maybe three, at most three more poems. Okay. This one is a syntax poem. If you don't know what that is, I suggest you look it up. It's one of my favorites. I love hearing it. I'm just get into it. Okay. Depression is a hard pill to swallow. Depression is a pill to swallow. Depression pill. Swallow. Depression swallow, depression, depression pill, depression kills. So swallow a hard pill, swallow a depression, depress in, wallow in an in depression in my body. In my body. My body is an end to depression. Wallow in my body, hollow in my body. Depression hollows my body, swallows my body whole. A whole pill for depression is a hard body to swallow. Wallow in my whole of a body. Depression, wallow, willow, willow. Depression is a willow. Make room. Make widow of the parts of my body that love parts of my body that hang from depression's willow tree. A pill is a hard body I can't swallow, so I hang pills from willow trees. Hollow out my body, making it in for all of depression's body to take up depression. Where's my body? Depression, where's my body? Depression, where's my body? Where my body like only a willow could, like dead weight, so heavy. And when did this become about my father? His dead weight so heavy like depression. My father is like depression. My father is to depression like I am to dead weight minus the dead. Or my father is to depression like I am to just wait. I am just wait, and I just can't wait to not weigh so heavy from my father's dead every day. I weigh myself in pills, then swallow his weight in depression. Does my body is an end to depression mean my body is an end to my father? So my father lives in my body, so he stays in the end? Why'd he check out so early? He still has to pay for the room he took up. We left the light on. We left the light on for him, but the bulb burned out. I just wait, but now the room has no father and no light, only depression. Depression is not a good guess. I want him out. I don't. He paid for the room too. Depression paid for the room, and I'm stuck paying for the damages. Is not fair. We left the light on. He should have came back, but now he's dead. Weight minus the weight, and I feel the weight of no father, like he's the depression I want out. I want him out, and I no longer know which him I'm talking about. I don't want to pay for the damages. I just wait. I am just the weight of my father's absence. My father's absence is a hard pill to swallow because it just weighs too damn much like depression. It's been a while since I performed any of these, so it's taking me there. Okay, this one is called Dolls Number 2. Now, if you want,
wait, real quickly, I need to restart the Instagram stream. So if you want to like share how we can support you in any ways, like chat books or something.
I don't actually. We had chat books when I was on a team. I do not know where they are. I'm not gonna lie to you. But if you want to follow me on Insta or Twitter, and I'll share those links throughout the show later. You can and message me. I love interaction. So if you message me and you're like, oh, I love this poem, or do you have other poems? I'll give it to you for free. Well, don't claim it as yours. That's plagiarism. But I will share with you for free because I do not have a book out. But when I do have a book out, you can say you got it for free at first. Okay. So this next poem is called Dolls Number 2. And like I was saying earlier, if you want to know why, well, not how I was saying earlier, but if you follow me and you want to know why it's called Number 2 and not Number 1 or just dolls, hit me up. Like, again, I'm sharing those links at the end. Okay. So this has a trigger warning for sexual assault reference, but not depicted. I want a body to put my lips on, a sunshine body with all the sparkles of a queer summer. Not so much a body as it is a seashell born blue. They say if you put your ear to it, it'll take you right on home. And wouldn't I like a home to body, and not so much a home as it is a ride in a car that is simultaneously my father and a limo to prom. Both things I miss on account of being a breathing thing that never wants to be alone, or a breathing something left behind. Okay, not so much a breathing something as much as a thing people breathe into, like a CPR dummy that never really knew a body. It wasn't dying to costume, and not so much as dying as it is becoming my father. And then he come out swell, just ask his tombstone for directions to the nearest hospital because I need a doctor for the bug in my stomach. Okay, maybe not a bug as much as a spilled battery in the lining of my heart. And when I say spilled, I can't possibly mean anything other than a cup of rainbow juice poisoning my Sunday's best dress. And of course, juice is actually referring to the dolls that play dress down in my cousin's room. Sometimes the dolls don't look like people, just the monsters I thought I dreamt. I never liked dolls anyway. Kind of said I tore all the heads off her dolls when I was 2. She's still mad about that. Okay, maybe they weren't heads as much as they were tree limbs that hung too low to the ground that cats and children like to climb, and they were a choking hazard anyway. I meant the dolls, not the tree limb. Tree limbs can't be choking hazards. Only bodies and their tiny heads can. And by choking hazard, I mean something that cannot take me home again. And by again, I mean the first time. And by the first time, I think I mean the time I learned what sex was in my cousin's bedroom. There were dolls there too. I was 5 and a choking hazard anyway. And by choking hazard, I mean a breathing thing that can not remember her father's smile, or if I don't know how to say what I need to, so I didn't. I don't know how to say what I need to, so I said it anyway. Okay. Whew. Okay. So my last poem is a poem entitled Found Poem, in which Shakana heals. Shakana is my sister. And I have some texts from the book Oceanic by Amy Nazakumatatil, She Healed by J. Michelle, and Musings of a Black Girl by Brittany Marshall. If you want those, hit me up. I can try to get you in contact with at least one of those poets. Okay. After the sun dissolves, everybody mourns. The sun never asks for its breath back, and the forecast does not look good today. She healed outside of his delivery zone, like in the hood, like a gaping hole. The sun don't own this house in the hood, just dissolves, like secrets that everybody mourns, a triangle of trauma, call that homelessness, our lack of identity. To wonder why the sun left with the departing ships like a ghost, or like how round bellies feel when the body is lost. Call that homelessness, or lost, or that black sick thunder and a kiss that never asks to feel good. In this house, we hide silent. We get lost in trauma and ask for our breath back. To my sister, Marifa sounds like a dissolving sun, like a gaping hole in her life when he left with the departing ships. Called that homelessness, to live in the hood and not heal, to hide inside trauma, to remember feeling black sick at the funeral, but too guilty to mourn. In this house, I ask for his breath back, and what returns to me is a triangle of trauma with endpoints at my sister, my father, at me. I ask for his breath back, and what returns to me is all the secrets we hid inside of. And what returns to me is a gold ghost that everyone mourns, except my sister. Because when I was 4, I asked for my father's breath back, but in doing so, I used mine to accuse my sister of killing his breath with her breath. The son don't own this trauma of a hood. She does. Delivery man don't deliver in hoods like those. She says she falls outside of his delivery zone. Call that homelessness too. To not be able to grieve a stepfather's dissolving. To live inside a hood of trauma that no one was aware even existed. Call that a dissolving body. Call that a no longer silent ghost. Call that a lost hood. Call that hers. Tell her that he was a dissolving son in her homelessness too. Tell her she didn't cause the departing. Tell her it's okay. Tell her she can mourn him. Tell her to ask for her breath back. Tell her that if she needs to, she can heal now. And that was my last poem. Thank you so much.
Right. Oh my gosh, I gotta collect myself after that feature.
Let's go, buddy.
Wow, that was great. Like literally, my fingers are hurting from how much I was snapping during that set. Thank you so much for featuring. And I know it's
not
your
the birthday girl bringing the
birthday
house down
today. So where can people send you birthday money?
That is a good question. I wasn't expecting it, but thank you. So birthday money, it's going to be $ Imani. That's spelled I as in India, MANIS2. Sorry, I had to spell it out in there because I needed to remember. So yeah, again, that's going to be $ Imani S2.
Nice. All right. So please support our artists, support Imani, send them money for their birthday. Oh my gosh. I really wish everything was open. So we could turn up. Like if we were having an in-person show, we would have thrown you a birthday party.
If y'all was having an in-person show, I probably wouldn't have been there. If we
could safely have in-person shows.
But I'm in Baton Rouge. You got flight money too?
That's one of the things that we're working on and why we ask our folks to support us so much, because there are a lot of folks who are amazing artists who cannot actually do in-person shows at our venue because we're on a totally different coast, and we do want to be able to support artists to be able to fly. So we can't do that yet, but we are working on it. That is one of our goals. So thank you so much for letting us know reminding us how important it is for us to continue working for that goal, to that goal. Speaking of goals and money, we have reached the money round of our slam. If you did not know, these poets were not just competing for fame.
Colin, before you continue announce like who's in the second round.
Okay.
I fucked up on scores real quick. I fucked up on scores. I need to make a quick adjustment and send you a new list.
Okay, so while we need a new list, because our scorekeeper fucked up. Yay, I'm not the only nigga who can't read, y'all. So while we are waiting on that list, I guess I'll shout out some of the other slams in the Bay. So every third Tuesday on Zoom, but in person, when we do in-person shows, it's at Lucas Tap Room. Shout out Lucas Tap Room. We have the Oakland Poetry Slam. Catch us at Oakland Slam on IG or on Facebook at the Oakland Poetry Slam for more details. We also run an open mic, the Rich Oak Alchemy open mic, every first and third Saturdays on Instagram live at Rich Oak Alchemy. There's also the San Jose Slam. They are really amazing. They are every second Sunday on Zoom. You can check out the San Jose Poetry Slam on Facebook and Instagram for more information about those folks. They are amazing. I recently saw Word Humboldt was doing shit again, and I think they're are they Tuesday, Monday or Tuesdays? Tuesday. Are they every Tuesday?
They are every Tuesday, and for the next 3 Wednesdays, so today, next Wednesday, and the Wednesday after, they're going to be having some Ernest Hemingway themed workshops. So you should definitely check them out.
Nice. So they are also doing workshops. Shout out to the Word Humboldt folks. That feature that I did there was absolutely amazing. It was really fun. They're really great folks and a really great show. So if you want to check out those other shows in the Bay Area, please check out their social media. If you forgot and don't have the ability to rewind, or for some reason are just too lazy, hit us up. We'll send you the information for all the other shows. I don't expect you to remember all of that shit. But do we have our list? We do have our list, the real list. Okay, so on the poets who made it into the next round will be reading in this order. We have Joshua Merchants, followed by AD Slams, followed by Kimberly Jae, then Nicole Tracii, Kaya, and Ro Wrights. Do we have a tie? Because that's 6 and not 5. We had a tie. Oh gosh. Okay, so we will move right in. We are not going to have a sacrifice for this round. So on deck, we have AD Slams, but coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to Joshua Merchant.
If Berkeley Black decided to light us up, would she have been wrong? I ask because obviously that wasn't her name. I ask because the nicest mention of her at school was her pockets, not her dimples, or how flawlessly her hair was pressed and curled. I ask because not that long ago, I too crawled from a chimney, could turn bath water into paint, and the boy who convinced me to ask her out once told me during art class I was actually cool and didn't need to hang out with the friends I had. And when I returned with the news of my new girlfriend, they were the wrong kind of happy for us. Have you ever heard a pack of wolves howl at the moon? It was nothing like that. Think niggas capping at the corner, just as ritualistic, but no instinctual honor to be had, and I may have deserved that, but she didn't. Which is why I arrived 2 periods later, a quiet boy made hollow shell clanging at her feet. Her smile let me know she was bulletproof, and with all the grace of an empty chamber, she let me know she understood. I didn't, but of course she did. I could have held her hand all the way to class, but to be real, only one of us would have needed that.
All right, give it one last time for Joshua Merchant. Gang. Judges, scores in to our scorekeeper, Reggie. All right, and our scores are very close, so stay consistent. But this is the most important round because it is really, really tight right now. All right, so on deck we have Kimberly Jae, but coming up to the stage right now, give a maximum love to AD Slam. Sorry, my list did not pop up. Let me retry that. Let's have a more enthusiastic introduction. My list closed up on me. All right, on deck, we have Kimberly Jae, but coming up to the stage, give a maximum love to AD Slam.
Woo! Let's go. Come on, poet.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
Trigger warning, depression and suicidal ideation. Thoughts of suicide, thoughts of you and I, thoughts of her and I, thoughts of him and I, thoughts of everything but God. For a long time, I wanted to die. A painful death, a mourning death, a death that will be remembered because I was always forgotten. I thought death was the only way to be heard, that my eyes closed, casket shut would finally get people to hear Black girls like me. Black girls with anxiety, Black girls with mental health don't mix. Be strong, girl. Be independent, like Little Boosie said. You don't need a therapist to handle all that trauma in your head. Keep quiet. Don't talk about what he did. Shh. It happens to all of us. Carry the burden, the actions that happen behind closed curtains. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Be a survivor. Keep moving in that dark tunnel of your mind. I promise it will soon get brighter. Thoughts of suicide, thoughts of you and I, thoughts of her and I, thoughts of him and I, thoughts of everything but God. You see, you, her, and him were my only real friends. The only ones always there. He was there when I was in pain. She was there to keep me sane. He was there to pick me up after I'd fall. She was there to wipe my tears every time I call. And you held me at night and always made me feel safe. I hope that you're listening. I hope that you hear me. Not you in this audience, but you out there that has never listened to me. I tried to tell you no. I tried to tell you stop, but it seems like you forgot. It seems like you and your power lost my sense of humanity. And you caused me to want to die slowly. The fear to live made me want to die. Too much stigma in my community to talk, so I held it all inside. For 20 years, I held it in my mind till my brain was ready to explode because you drove me crazy. Till she put me in chains I couldn't get myself out of. He put me in rooms where I had no control until it came out spilling. Now I bleed the pain of a decade that once hit in my heart and that eventually contaminated my soul. But he thought I wouldn't get through it, and she thought I wouldn't survive, and you thought I'd be too shy, huh? To expose my truth, to set myself free, to no longer be afraid to expose you. You caused me to hate myself. You caused me to hate you. You caused me to hate when all I wanted was love. So I began to think that abuse was love, that the only type of love was an abusive one. So now I struggle to love. I wish I could go back in time to flip the switch so that you could see, so that you could be in the light. But I'm grateful because God has brought me into the light. Once I was baptized into Christ, I was baptized into life so that he can't hurt me, so that she can't crush me, so that you can't break me anymore. Death on the cross gave me life in this world so that I won't have thoughts of suicide, thoughts of you and I, thoughts of her and I, thoughts of him and I, but instead I have thoughts of living free, thoughts of him and me, thoughts that are heavenly, thoughts of everything with God.
One more round of applause for AD Slams. Gang, gang, gang. Get your scores into our scorekeeper, and our last poet got a score of a 29.5. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. And an announcement, I almost forgot about this. Thank you so much to our lovely Arvin for letting us know. Next week will be our last slam for a while. In April, we will be doing another series of writing workshops, our Make Go workshops. They will be hosted by Anita Diaz. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. I saw some people snap, some people know who they are, but it's gonna be absolutely amazing. So check it out. We have our Eventbrite in our description, so please check it out. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, the workshops are free. They are donation-based though, so you can buy a donation ticket off of Eventbrite where you can choose to pay. We really do appreciate it. It helps us make sure that we are able to continue our programming. But most importantly, getting an Eventbrite link, whether it's a donation ticket or a free ticket, allows you to access the Zoom meeting. So if you want to be a part of these workshops, go through Eventbrite. That's how you make sure you get all the information that you need to be in these workshops. And I guarantee you, last time we did these workshops, we had Janae Johnson, and you do not want to miss these ones, because if you miss last ones, you are already mistaken, and you don't want to be slipping twice in a row, now do you? So please,
we gotta need a D for these ones.
Yeah. And let's move on with the show. On deck, we have Nicole Tracii coming up to the stage. Give a maximum love for Kimberly Jae.
Woo, woo, woo.
I think I freaked my mom out when I told her that I've had more women than she would ever be comfortable with me admitting to. See, my mom seems to think that I'm gay because of a woman that she has affectionately nicknamed that raggedy ass heifer. And while I know she would love to believe that I was plucked out of a cabbage patch, fully formed, chubby cheeks and yarn locks with adoption papers, let's be real. Pussy gave me life. Pussy still gives me life. A woman who can suck my clit, make me lose my religion while introducing me to God at the same damn time gives me life. See, when my mother doesn't seem to understand, is that raggedy ass heifer was my fiance. That she broke me worse than any man could. That if I could pray the gay away and rebury my skeletons into their closets, be reborn, subtract the DNA of my fiance from my being, I would. When I asked my fiance why, she said she wanted stable. What the fuck does that mean? I stably loved you. We stably got bills. You stably curl into me and expect me to bust away all of your poltergeist to now make ghost out of your love to turn our home into Elm Street. When I ask my fiance why, she tells me she loves me. When I ask her why, she says she didn't mean to hurt me. When I ask her why, she says she didn't see this coming. When I ask her why not, she cannot find words, so cannot find air for her excuses, so she just steals the air out of my lungs. When I ask her why you wait 2 hours before competition to tell me this, she says nothing. She knows trauma gives me new poems. I'm not linguist enough to know a language in which divorce is a poetic device. When my mother asks me about that raggedy ass heifer, do I just curl into her bosom and pray that she does not turn into vigilante? Let her untrained side bitch pisses in corners not open to her welcome. She's trying to carve out permanent space, scratches and sniffs at what is not hers, but she knows what my heart tastes like. It's salty. It's bitter, it's full of black licorice and yellow rotten starburst, but I no longer have love for her. She quashed all that in me like cabbage and black eyed peas. We were supposed to start this year anew, but you knew her in a biblical sense, and now we're getting kicked out of paradise because of what you were eating now. I just want to know Exodus now. I just want my life and my last name back.
Come on!
Let's go, poet.
Gang. Judges, get your score. And to our scorekeeper, Reggie, and our last poet got a score of, I just saw it. Where was it? It is higher. There is. Scrolling through Zoom sucks, y'all. Okay, our last poet got a score of a 28.4. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Gang. We are almost at the end of our show. Only, I do believe, 3 more poets to go. So on deck, we have coming up to the stage right now. Give maximum love to Nicole Tracii.
Woo! Yeah, let's go.
A 3-part erasure of catcalls. 1, a man shouts, "Damn girl, I want you on a plate." And I don't stop walking to tell him, for fuck's sake, you are not the first person to holler at me, but you are by far the most annoying. But the humorous part of me wonders, what type of plate would I be? I wish I could be a fun plate, but I'm probably a fragile decorative plate you get as a wedding gift just to display in a cabinet, because like these plates, I'm only good for looking at, kept away because I am too fragile. But at least that means I am a fancy meal. One with 2 small portion sizes that can't satisfy his hunger. So he finds some other girl to plate to, blames us for his hunger, blames us for the bite marks and serrated knife marks he leaves behind, blames us for not being enough for him. The man shouts, "Damn girl, I want you on a plate." And I think about the last boy that dropped me and I shattered. How I was still nothing more than meat to be consumed. How I could never satisfy his hunger either. It became my fault. I wasn't appetizing enough to him anymore, but he doesn't realize he was never appetizing to me in the first place. It was only about his hunger because men don't like when their meals talk back. A man shouts, "Damn girl, I want you on a plate," because I'm wearing shorts in 90-degree heat, because all summer I have to choose between cat calls and heat stroke, because if I get heat stroke, he's an excuse to put his hands on me. He's an excuse to say I didn't say no. A man shouts, "Damn girl, I want you on a plate." And it's probably a disposable plate, use once and throw away, just like what he thinks of me. 2, a man shouts, "Damn girl, I want you on a plate." Fragile, decorative plates because I'm only good for looking at. Too fragile, a fancy meal can't satisfy his hunger. Other girls to plate, blamed for his hunger, blamed for not being enough. A man shouts, "Damn girl, I think I was nothing more than meat. I could never satisfy his hunger. It was only about his hunger. Men don't like when their meals talk back." A man shouts, "Damn girl," because I'm wearing shorts, because I choose cat calls or heat stroke. A man shouts, "Damn girl, I want you disposable. Use once, throw away." 3, a man shouts, "Girl, I want you fragile, decorative, good for looking at. A meal can't satisfy his hunger. I'm blamed for not being enough." A man shouts, "Girl, nothing more than meat, never satisfied, don't talk back." A man shouts, "Girl, cat calls, disposable. Use once, throw away."
All right, give it up one last time for Nicole Tracii, gang, 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 gang. And our last poet, Kimberly, got a score of a 29.7. Give it up for the poet and not the score. All right, and on deck, we have our last poet of the slam row rights, but coming up to the stage, give one more maximum round of applause for Kaya.
Let's go, poet. I'm gonna give that a 9.1. Kaya, you're muted.
Sorry, I pressed unmute like twice. Sally Hemings only speaks of Thomas Jefferson the day he coughs his ghost into every fireworks scenes and takes her chains with him. They dressed me in so much powder, smeared molasses on my face and bathed me in it. They taped my breasts up, perky like his French women. They draped me in lace, wrapped me in satin. I begged them not to dress me in white. We jumped a broom and signed no papers. He thought that'd be funny. Every child they brought to me thereafter, wailing for love and warmth, I simply kissed once, passed off to the nurse, and named after another captor I met on the way from Daddy Whale's place to Monticello. And here is where I get honest. I cannot remember the nights my children were born, only that I wished they were dead by dawn. And sometimes a simple prayer is curse enough to quash someone else's wishes. If you fed it the right thing, if you've screamed enough of the woes from your bones into the dirt, and each one sounds like another way you've been demanded to moan his name. I can't remember the first time he made me come, but I remember thinking, this must be what love is, this miraculous blaring symphony in my joints. This is what my mother knew. This wretched union called captivity. This is why we don't fight when we are bent over and searching for reasons to kiss them back after they finish on top of us and massage our necks with their wet guilt. We do it all for this fleeting flicker of freedom. The moments they shudder for an impermanence last time and call you darling. Why, it's so incredible how they do it. How they toss you crumbs from their banquets of gold, and it almost makes you wish you would forget why a nigger like you never has to have a baby she don't want ever again. It's just that the children, They always come out looking so much like their fathers.
Yeah. All right, judges, get your scores in. And do we have scores for? All right, and Nicole got a score of a 28.4. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Gang, 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 gang. All right, we have come to the last poet of our slam. So on deck, we have finding out who wins this money and then going home. But coming up to the stage right now, give it up for the last poet of our slam. Give one last maximum round of applause for Ro Ra.
Yeah.
All tempos matter, said Karen as she danced off beat to a Tupac record. I mean, she didn't actually say that out loud, but her jagged movements and staggered claps did. I mean, her dancing literally looked like it hurt. Like her body was actually trying to combat the beat, I swear. It looked like she was tap dancing on ice wearing glass slippers after taking 12 shots of whiskey. Like she was disoriented, like she was trying to be everywhere at once, but realized she had nowhere to go. It looked like the beat was sneaking up on her. Like she was trying to catch the ones during the twos and the twos during the threes and the threes during the fours. She swayed awkwardly like misunderstood movement and asked why he was rapping so fast. She said if he would just slow down a little bit, she could understand the lyrics better. After all, she preferred sounds sedated by slumber and words with no soul. I mean, she didn't actually say that out loud, but her delayed timing did. So she continued to painfully move her body in any direction she felt compelled to gravitate towards. And honestly, in that moment, I wondered if we were listening to the same song. If she was listening at all, and then it dawned on me. Y'all motherfuckers can't dance because you don't listen. And isn't that funny? How the absence of color equates to uncompromised bodily freedom. How pale privilege permits one to move without any regard for those around them. So hear me when I say, on a lucky day, we are silent survivors of misunderstandings and sayings like, all lives matter, which really means Black lives don't. I mean, they don't actually say that out loud, but the deceased body on account of subtle movement does. Hear me when I say all lives matter means internal conflict in monotonous combat, means incessant hashtags, Confederate flags, hooded masks, and body bags, which are all the rage and to die for, but I digress. All lives matter is 12 shooting shots and character assassinations, is the way inquiries transmorph into interrogations and encourages separations as nations fall victim to dichotomous sword, is the way matters of wrong and right are depicted as Black versus white, is the consumptions of fractions in hopes of feeling whole again. You know, drink a fourth and smoke an eighth in hopes of forgetting that 3/5 of you will always be assigned to invisibility. I mean, what's crazy is they did actually say that, but now it's just simply implied. All lives matter is a sneaky death that accentuates the travesty of faintness, is war, is battered Black bodies and bloodshed that flows fiercely through mourning mothers as darkness becomes a relived occurrence, is ironic, is a cop-out, is the way the boys in blue walk the beat and waltz past justice as they plead not guilty, is the way heartbeats slowly diminish into non-existence as a man pleads for air. All lives matter extends far beyond the breath in my mouth and faltered between the notion of progress and reality. All lives matter are lost melodies and the plucking of petals without rhyme or reason, is the reincarnation of the inward, is the way I absorb hate and turn it inward. All lives matter is a multifaceted facade that gazes upon a mirage we oftentimes call hope, is the realization the only thing we can save is face. So Karen, tell me, if all tempos matter, how long should we wait for all lives to matter? And by all lives, I mean Black lives, I mean brown lives, Indigenous lives, Asian lives, queer lives. By all lives, I mean my life. So Karen, sweetie, We know all tempos matter. That's why we let your goofy ass rock with us on the dance floor. I guess what I'm trying to say is this. We know all lives matter. We're just waiting for you to start acting like it.
One more round of applause to Row Writes. And our last poet, Kaya, got a score of a 29.1. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. We are still waiting for scores for the last poet as well as our total scores. But in the meantime, I guess I will do more plugging of shows. So again, follow the Oakland Slam at Oakland Poetry Slam every third Tuesday. Shit, this is a show I run and I don't remember what it is. Every third Tuesday. Prophet's over here saying sing happy birthday to Imani, and as much as I want to, because of the slight delay in the internet, everybody's gonna be singing at a different time. And we can't play copyrighted music during the live stream. Just me sing it? Arvin, that's a bad idea. Because I have us up here like the lead singer at the choir. I have us up here for 10 hours just singing happy birthday. Scores. Seen the copyright-free version? I don't know if there is a copyright-free version.
The Happy Birthday song originally, that's copyright. Happy Birthday song itself is copyright.
When we started Rich Oak Alchemy, we were one show, one small open mic in Oakland. I was not expecting to run this many shows when we started this. I am way more professional than I ever thought I would have to be. Arvin's like, we're the Dogecoin of Slam. Yes, we are. Scores, Reginald. Okay. Right. Oh, thank God. We avoided scores, but we avoided ties, but these scores were close. So I need a drum roll because these poets were competing for money. In third place, with a score of 58.2 and thus winning 20, I hope, American dollars, we have Kaya. Is there anything you would like to say to the people? Any speeches you would like to give? Would you like to thank anybody like the Academy?
I would like to thank my ex-boyfriend for giving me the heartbreak that will someday make me famous for my words.
Word. Look, that's a word. When people fuck you over, make money. My dog went around terrorizing the whole family for years, and now that's one of my favorite poems. So when people fuck you over, write a poem, make some money. A breakup is way better when you profit from it. So in second place, with a score of a 58.6 and thus winning 30, which again, I hope is American dollars. Give it up for Josh Merchant.
Woo! Let's go, Josh.
Woo! Oh, thank you. Y'all are dope. I'm about to go to bed. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Give it up one more time for Joshua Merchant and the Sweet Dreams. Have a good night. Have a good night knowing that you are accomplished. Thank you so much for gracing our stage and hope to see you next time. But now I need a drum roll because in first place with a score of a 59.4 and thus winning 50 whole American dollars. I hope those American dollars aren't in halves or fourths. They better be whole American dollars. Give it up for our winner tonight, Kimberly Jae.
Woo! Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. So I had a stroke a couple of years ago. and it affects my speech. And so my ability to talk is really feigning right about now. So I'm gonna keep this pretty short, but thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you giving me this space.
All right, thank you so much for coming. We enjoyed everybody who came here. Thank you so much to Kimberly. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Kaya. Thank you, Soba, 80 Slam, Ro Rice, Nicole. Thank you so much to Imani for featuring, and thank you for everyone who helps put this show together. Thank you so much to Tino and Prophet and Chardonnay and Arvin and Reggie, always working behind the scenes. And you know what? Who else makes this show happen? Y'all do. Y'all make this show happen. So thank you. And now that this show is over, I can just say before we get out of here, all of y'all snatched my edges. This was such an amazing show. And I hope to see a lot of y'all, not just who are in the slam, but who are in the comment section showing so much love here next week for our last show of the month, and also at our writing workshops next month. But this has been the Berkeley Poetry Slam. I have been your host, Colin. We will see you next time.